This is a TalkStation original podcast.
It's Coastal Gardener on the TalkStation FM 107.1, and joining us this afternoon, we have, of course, our normal Sean Banks from Carter Cooperative Extension Agency. I've got it all. I got the cooperative in there.
You did.
And he's brought with him a guest, a member of his staff, as a matter of fact. We have joining us this morning, Coleman Killinger, and she is with the 4-H. And I'm going to give, I've done the preemptive strike on that one. But with that, Sean, let's talk here for a moment about our guest.
Well, Coleman is our 4-H and youth development agent. She does a lot of work with the youth. So North Carolina Cooperative Extension does a whole lot more than just agriculture. And youth development is one of those things that we do, and Coleman does it really, really well. So I thought it would be a great idea to let her come in, since she had her state meeting last week, and she won a couple of awards for some of her programs. I thought I would let her come in and talk about that, but I also wanted her to talk a little bit about the Avian Bowl. That has a little bit to do with agriculture.
I'm sorry, wait. The what bowl?
Avian Bowl. It has to do with birds.
Avian
Chickens.
Bowl.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chickens, geese, turkeys, all that kind of fun
The things
stuff.
we like to eat.
Yes.
Okay. We're all into PETA. That's people eating tasty animals here,
There we
Coleman.
go.
So with that, Coleman, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much. We are pre-recording the program. Coleman has just walked in from having delivered her son to Bogue Sound Elementary. All right. So Coleman, welcome to the program. Tell us something about you.
Well, I have been working with the Cooperative Extension Service through 4-H since 2017. Before that, I actually taught in the public school system.
Okay. So education is not a new ingredient for you.
No.
All right. Let's talk about 4-H. What is the purpose of 4-H, just out of the start?
4-H is a youth development organization that is part of the land-grant universities, and our job is to provide or to be the liaison between the university and the citizens of the county. And in my case with 4-H, I work directly with youth who are ages 5 to 18.
Okay, and what are you teaching in this category?
We teach a broad range of topics, from public speaking skills to how to show livestock, robotics, to plant science or animal science. So we teach a wide range of topics.
All right. How do youngsters get involved in 4-H?
So 4-Hers typically come to us one of three ways. One is through school enrichment. So you might be familiar with like embryology in the second grade. So we do that project.
I'm sorry, what is that again?
Embryology.
In the second grade?
Yes. So we hatch chicken eggs to teach the life cycle,
Okay.
Is what they're studying. And we talk about the life cycle of the chicken.
Okay. I remember doing it with worms, of all things.
Okay. So the second way that kids come to us is through our summer programming. Mm-hmm. And in our county, we actually go into locations and teach. So we teach at Emerald Isle Parks and Rec, Morehead City Parks and Rec, and Carteret County Parks and Rec at their Fort Benjamin location. And then the third way that kids can be involved is through community clubs that are run by our trained volunteers throughout the county. So sometimes we have a club that does community service each month. So they pick a location in the county that they want to do something to help out. So we've had one group who did a beautification project at the SPCA. You might have a after-school club that focuses on robotics or just leadership skills. And then we have a group who is a horse club.
You know, there's an assumption out there, Sean, and again, we're talking with Sean Banks, and that was Coleman Killinger, as a matter of fact, that was just sharing her information with us about the 4-H program. The assumption, I'm going to you first on this, Sean, that because it works through the Cooperative Extension Agency, that 4-H is specifically just agriculture or just plants, or in this case, we're chickens and ducks and things of this livestock. And by the way, I want to comment. There was we had one of our youth pointers years ago when we had our teen program was an active goat herder.
Oh, cool.
She raised goats. She and her family in Newport, and we were always kidding around. And You caught the pun.
That was punny,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, you caught that. Thank you. But the assumption is a lot of people that 4-H is just relegated to agricultural activities. Am I correct on that?
A lot of people do think that because when 4-H was started, it was a lot of agriculture. It was livestock shows and that kind of thing. But in today's world, 4-H is so much more than just livestock. It's all kinds of different things.
That's my conclusion from our conversation here with Coleman, as a matter of fact. We're talking with Coleman Killinger and Sean Banks here on Coastal Gardener, Coastal
Right.
Farmer. I've got Coastal, I'm thinking farms now. Coastal Gardener here this afternoon. All right, Coleman, back to that comment, that observation I made, that the assumption is 4-H is just agriculturally related. You're dealing with robotics. Now, I grant you robots are being used in agricultural activities as well, such things as drone technology, etc. But there is, if you will, this blending of, I don't know what to describe it other than activities or industry with all of these activities. No longer is a tractor just used for farm implementation or drones just used for scientific technology, although there's a lot of science in farming. So how do you communicate this to the parents, let alone the children? How do you communicate that to you? Because this is an important story here we're talking about today.
We like to look at it as we're building life skills. We are building essential life skills that kids will take with them forever, that they can take into post-secondary education, into work.
Well, you gave for an example, public speaking.
Absolutely. We just had 4 kids who competed in public speaking at the county level and then went to the district level and then went to the state level and placed in all 3 levels that they competed in. So we brought gold medalists back to Carteret County who had never done public speaking contests before, but went to the state and beat everybody else and came home with a gold medal.
Okay, let's pick on public speaking here for a moment. And I know that we're talking about gardening. However, this is part of that whole enterprise.
Right.
How do they prepare for that? They're obviously in school. Members of the high schoolers, or what age?
These are elementary and middle schoolers. So we
I'm
had
sorry, one more time.
elementary school and middle school age.
And they're competing in public speaking.
Yes, sir.
That's stunning. You never think about an elementary student sitting in front of a lectern or a group of people, anyhow,
Right.
and conducting a speech.
So they choose the topic of their choice. It can be, we bring them in and I ask them what are the 10 things they're most passionate about. And that is our jumping off point. And we eventually get all the way down to one topic and they run with it. And
Okay, I've got to step into another enterprise. And you are a, I'll say a former teacher. You're still teaching, not only in your capacity now, not in the public school environment, but rather through the Cooperative Extension Agency. But are the schools engaged in this? The schools, are they supportive of these programs? And do those teachers in the process, these youngsters, teachers, are they engaged in this?
so our teachers are very supportive of us, but our programs are, especially like the presentation program, is separate from the school system.
Right.
So they are supportive of it, but we do our own presentation series where the kids come to us in the afternoons after school or in the evenings.
Okay.
And we work on
Let's
things.
talk about the schedule for these youngsters here. What is it? What is the schedule for something like that?
Our kids are super involved in everything.
Obviously.
And so
Well, let me make an observation. These are not necessarily your standard student, but at the same time, you want to sort of influence or expose opportunities to all students. Am I correct on that?
absolutely. So the kids that you see with me, you would not assume are the average student in
Right.
school, but they absolutely were. We pull kids from anywhere at any point, and we work with them to get them to whatever they want to work on. So, for example, one child that I have in mind, I went to the school and spoke to them about public speaking, and the parent called and she said, this is so out of her normal, but she really wants to do it. And she's the one who won gold at district and gold at state.
Wow. We're talking with Coleman Killinger, and she is the 4-H. What is her title, Sean?
She's the 4-H Youth Development Agent.
4-H Youth Development Agent, part of the Cooperative Extension Agency in Carteret County. And we have, of course, Sean Banks here as well. We're talking about this on Coastal Gardener. I know that it's not necessarily out there putting our fingers in the dirt. We are going to talk about the Avian Bowl. Okay. I'm going to wrap it up with this observation on the 4-H here in just a moment with you, Coleman. The fact that you've got these students now involved in this, do you track them after, and I say that to you, I guess really I ought to offer this to you, Sean, and that is, do you track these students? Is there a way to track these students after they leave the 4-H program to see what kind of results this generates?
Well, sometimes they'll come back to the county because they are county residents. So sometimes they'll come back to the county and you can hear about their experiences in college and beyond. But know that we don't put a tracker on them and follow them through life.
Okay. In many regards, that's probably a good thing. Okay. All right. We're going to take a quick break. We've got Coleman Killinger here. We're going to talk in a moment about actual gardening and farming activities as well. But we've been talking about the educational activities of 4-H. And I want to thank Coleman and Sean for introducing Coleman to the program. It's not been as painful as she thought it was going to be. You're listening to Coastal Gardener here on the Talk Station.
Hi, I'm JJ Smith.
And I'm Zach Nally.
And we're Carteret County News Times reporters and host of the new podcast, Paper Boys.
Join us each week as we bring you exclusives with coaches and athletes, tournament organizers, and newsmakers in the world of sports.
We'll cover high school football, basketball, and so much more, as well as catch up with former star athletes from our county and beyond.
Listen every week to the Paper Boys podcast, streaming now on Spotify, YouTube, and at CarolinaCoastOnline.com. New episodes every Friday.
It's Coastal Gardener on the Talk Station, FM 107.1. And joining us today, we have, of course, Sean Banks of Carteret County Cooperative Extension Agency. I've removed the word agriculture in that phrase, by the way. And we have, but interestingly enough, there is a lot of agriculture involved in your activities.
There is.
We also have Coleman Killinger, who is the 4-H Youth Development Agent with a Cooperative Extension Agency in Carteret County. By the way, does every Cooperative Extension Agency have a youth developer like Coleman? Well, I say like a position, that position. Nobody has anybody like Coleman, of course.
I have to agree with that. But yes, every office has a 4-H agent and every office has an agriculture agent. And I think every office right now has somebody that works with family and consumer sciences, which is health and nutrition and food safety.
Okay. You know, I got to compliment not only you, but I've got to compliment the Cooperative Extension program. There's a lot there that is, if you will, infrastructure, because you're assuring better health, better environment. We've talked about this on numerous occasions and how we prepare our yards and our gardens and so forth. So I just a broader aspect of what you all do. Coleman, let's talk here about something that Sean brought up, and I'm going, okay, I'm game of sort. Well, no, that's a pun too.
Yes, it is.
Avian Bowl. What is Avian Bowl, and what are we talking about here?
All right, so Avian Bowl is a quiz-like situation, but everything is geared towards birds of some sort. So chickens, turkeys, emus, all the birds across the board. Our kids are very involved in animal projects. They love animals at that age, and our kids have really taken to chickens, and so we started the Avian Bowl.
I'm big into eggs anyhow, so okay, keep going. We need it. We need lots of chickens, by the way.
We do. We absolutely do. So Avian Bowl, the National Poultry and Egg Association chooses a set of basically information that the kids are responsible for the year.
Okay.
And then we put a team together. They study that over the course of a few months, and then we go to competition in July for the state competition.
Where is that conducted?
That is done at NC State University with the
by the way,
poultry department.
You mentioned, by the way, and I think this is an important observation, the land grant institution. And North Carolina's primary land grant institution is NC State.
Correct.
Also known as MooU or Cal College. But anyhow, but it is, no. But to that point, one of the purposes of a land grant institution, and I'm going to go out on a limb, is to return back to the citizens of the state the benefits of education.
Absolutely.
And in other words, it's to reinvest back into the state. And NC State does an outstanding job of that, by the way. I apologize. All right. So you do the initial bowl at NC State.
Correct. So back in March, we started meeting. We had a few kids from our county that wanted to do it, but there was a couple of counties that did not have a team. So we had a few kids come over, and we meet weekly to review whatever they've been studying. I will assign projects so like they might research a breed of poultry, and so their job is to come back and report. So we meet weekly to review what they've studied, to present those projects, to ask questions, anything that they've got. And so from March to July, every week we're together and we study. And then in July, we went to the competition. We took one senior team this year and one junior team.
Okay. Where did you do the studying?
We actually do most of it virtually on Zoom.
Okay, that's number one. Number two, how long does these programs? Well, for example, the your educational activity or meeting, how long do they last?
So surprisingly, I only do it for 30 minutes.
Okay.
Because we meet weekly for such a long time,
Okay.
I keep it right to 30 minutes and we cut it off and we move on.
All right. So how did these two teams do when they went to NC State?
They did very, very good. So our junior team, who was 3/4 brand new to the situation, they took second place at the state level in the junior division, and our senior team took first in the senior division.
Let's talk about your junior and senior team. Is that based on age?
It is. So 9 to 13 are our junior team, and 14 to 18 are our senior team.
Okay. In the competition, what did they do? Do they answer questions? Are they quizzed? Is it like sitting in front of your doctorate panel and they've got?
It's very similar. So they're set up as a quiz bowl. So there's one team facing the other team, and they have buzzers.
Okay.
The moderator reads the question, they buzz in, and that's
right.
how we run the whole competition.
Okay. So junior team took second, senior team took first. What
Yes.
happens next with the? We'll assume the senior team's going to go elsewhere.
So the senior team qualified to compete at the national convention. So that is in Kentucky in November. So they are back to studying, back to weekly meetings, and they will travel to Louisville in November on November 15th and 16th. They will do a written quiz on the 15th, and then they will actually do the quiz bowl part on the 16th.
Okay. How many students are we talking about?
We have 3 girls going.
Girls?
Yep.
No guys?
Only one boy on our junior team, but no
Okay.
senior boys.
All right. Where are the girls coming from? Are they all from Carteret or are they from around the area?
2 of them are from Carteret County and 1 is from Onslow County.
Okay. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
These are the kind of activities. Sean, what is the purpose of 4-H? I mentioned a few moments ago, of course, we're looking at a broader perspective. Originally, 4-H was oriented towards agricultural activities.
Right.
So is this seen as an opportunity also to expose these youngsters to agricultural activities?
It does. It exposes them to agriculture activities, but there are some kids that aren't involved with agriculture that are more interested in other things like robotics or technology. But the basics of 4-H is to help them with their head, to get them smarter, to give them opportunities for service so they can use their hands, and to help them with their health. So to teach them about healthy living and that kind of thing, and then to expose them to their community. So head, heart, hands, and health.
Okay. That's what the 4-H
So
is.
those are the 4-H's. So it gives them that opportunity to learn to love the things that they do, and exposes them to lots of different opportunities for learning.
You were originally Coleman, again, that was Sean Banks, Coleman Killinger with us as well here on Coastal Gardener. You were a teacher. Why did you get involved in 4-H?
So actually 4-H allowed me to be able to blend my love of education and my love of agriculture.
Okay.
So I know we keep coming back to that, but that was a love that I had. My degree is actually in animal science, and being in 4-H allowed me to be able to have both pieces of the things that I really enjoyed.
Okay. Next question goes to, obviously this is a program being funded, I guess, through Department of Agriculture and also through other sources. what can the community do to participate and assist? And do you need assistance?
Absolutely. We are always looking for
I
volunteers.
was supposed to ask that question, right? Okay, all right.
So we are always looking for volunteers. Of course, we're always looking for youth to join our program, but we have volunteers who run our clubs, and we can't run those clubs without them. I'm one person, and I facilitate those clubs, but our volunteers actually run those.
All right. Let's talk about where are you drawing your volunteers from, what fields, and how can people sort of get involved if they want to volunteer?
So we draw volunteers from a wide range of backgrounds because our clubs can be based in any subject matter.
Okay. Robotics scratches my attention. big time.
Absolutely. And so we have people who work on base who come in and maybe do shooting sports with us.
Okay.
We have teachers who do like an after school program for leadership skills. So we have a wide range of volunteers. We have people, stay at home moms, especially homeschool families. Our curriculum runs right along with the homeschool curriculum. And so they can use things like our presentations to be their public speaking piece.
The homeschooling activity sounds to me very intriguing. All right. What about the issue of locations? Where can they be conducted?
So our clubs are conducted wherever the volunteer chooses.
Okay.
So if we have a volunteer in the western end of the county and they want to meet at the library, then we help set those locations
So you're the
up. So that's
facilitator.
my job. Yeah.
You're a facilitator.
So my job is when a volunteer comes and says, "Hey, I would love to do this club." My job is to find them a location, help them get those meetings set up, make that schedule out, and find kids to help fill those spots.
Okay, and before we wrap it up with you, and I'm going to move over to Sean for get some real business. To make him work for a change. Pardon me. That's Coleman Killinger with us. How many students are currently involved in the 4-H program, approximately?
We have about 100 kids who.
Wow, how many?
About 100 kids who are either involved in community clubs or in as member at large, where they work directly with me to do their activities.
After they graduate, now it's up to 18, am I correct?
Yes.
After they graduate, do you still have college students, for example, assisting and working with you?
We do have some kids who come back. We know that 4-Hers are about 75% more likely to give back to their communities after they have graduated from high school. And most of them will come back and give back to the 4-H.
That's a real compliment to the program, compliment to the Cooperative Extension Agency, which oversees this program as well. And that's Coleman Killinger, who is the 4-H Youth Development Agent. I did get that title correct?
Correct.
Coleman, thank you very much for being with us. Before we wrap it up, I want to thank Sean Banks, again, a Cooperative Extension Agency in Carteret County. Before we wrap it up, real quickly, anything that's happening in the county or in the region that the audience should consider?
Well, this month is still National Fruits and Veggies Month.
Oh, that's right.
So take the opportunity to stop by a roadside stand and support your farmer, or go to the farmer's market and purchase some fruits and veggies.
So a strawberry is a fruit, but what about a tomato?
Tomato is also a fruit. It has seeds on the inside.
That's what I was wondering. We were talking about that. He was quizzing me last week. All right. And then the other question, of course, is we're coming into fall and we're seeing some pleasant weather for a change.
Yes.
Anything we should start thinking about? We've got to put potash on our yards, you said.
Yes. If you haven't already put some potassium or potash out there on the lawn, or just generally on most plants, the potassium will help to get the plants through the winter.
And what's the quantity or the...
If you're using potash, which is on the bag, it'll have a 0050 or a 0060. It's about 2 pounds of the fertilizer per 1,000 square feet is what you're going to need. So it's not a whole lot. It's just a really light dusting of actual
2
fertilizer.
2 pounds per 1,000 square feet.
Correct.
Okay, and what if it's potassium?
That's
same thing.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
Potash is potassium. The 0060 or 0050 is the potassium.
All right. And anything we need to do for our gardens or our shrubbery?
With the shrubbery, hold off on pruning. I saw a couple of people out there pruning already. Hold off on the pruning until probably October, November, when the plants have gone dormant. Pruning right now encourages a little bit of new growth, which will get damaged by the frost that we usually get in October, November.
And we're anticipating a cooler fall and winter.
Well, hopefully cooler. I don't want it to be freezing, but cooler than it was last year.
We need a good hard freeze to get rid of those mosquitoes.
Right.
All right. I want to thank Sean Banks, of course, Carter Cooperative Extension Agency, and our new arrival here, Coleman Killinger, who works with the Cooperative Extension Agents as the 4-H Youth Development Agent. Coleman, pleasure. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And Sean, as always, keep those gardens growing.
All right, thanks.
Coastal Gardener on the Talk Station.
I'm Ryan Kelly,
I'm Lynn Schultz.
and we're the hosts of the Senior Moment podcast.
Each week, we bring you conversations with experts right here in our community about the common and uncommon challenges facing our aging population and caregivers.
We discuss the challenges of caring for a loved one with dementia, as well as the importance of health planning, family history, and much more.
Join us every week for Senior Moment, streaming now on Spotify, YouTube, and at CarolinaCoastOnline.com.